Everyone, welcome to Quick and Easy Cooking. Now today I'm going to do a recipe from Elvis Presley's Greatest Hits, Recipes and More from Graceland. And it is his Southern Vegetable Soup. And that's what it's called, Southern Vegetable Soup. Now, it's kind of cool. Let me show you the book. It says Elvis Greatest Hits, Recipes and More from Graceland. And I absolutely love this recipe in here. It's the Southern Vegetable Soup. So I'm going to write this out for you guys in the description box, the original, and then I'm going to do a smaller scale of this because it's a lot and I don't want that much soup. So I'm going to do a smaller scale of this. But the original recipe is, now it says beef or chicken broth. Now if you are a vegetarian and you don't want to use beef or chicken, you can also do vegetable broth. Okay, you can do that. Now you will need crushed tomatoes. It says 1 onion, finely chopped. I forgot to put my onion out. And it says a half a cup of all these vegetables. And so what I just did, I brought the 1 bag of mixed vegetables, and it says salt and pepper and Tabasco sauce to taste. Now I don't have Tabasco sauce in my refrigerator, I just have Crystal, so I'm just going to use hot sauce. So just use whatever you have in your fridge or your pantry, and I'm just going to use salt and pepper for this. But anyways, we're going to make Elvis Presley's Southern Vegetable Soup. And this is going to be very, very, very good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the original recipe underneath the description bar when I get ready to put this video up. And then also, I'm also going to do my smaller scale, what I used, in case you need, you want to make a smaller portion of this. So I'm going to do that as well. But anyways, we're going to have Elvis Presley's Southern Vegetable Soup, and this is going to be really good. I've had this before, and it is very, very good. Now what I have here is I have my Dutch oven. I'm going to cook this in the Dutch oven. And I'm going to start out using Margaret Holmes tomatoes, okra, and corn. And the reason being is because in his recipe, they give a half a cup of corn, okra, and tomatoes. So Margaret Holmes has a good spice blend. So what I'm going to use is 1 can of this and 1 can of crushed. Now if you can't find Margaret Holmes, what you can do is you can use the 2 cans of the crushed tomatoes. Okay, but it does call for crushed tomatoes in his recipe. Now I poured in the Margaret Holmes right here because it has a good seasoning on it, and it's not overly done. It's got a very good blend. You would really like this seasoning that they have on it. It's very good. Now I'm also going to use crushed tomatoes right here, so I'm going to pour this in. Now what I have here is 1 cup of beef broth. Now like I said, you can use chicken broth, you can use beef broth, and if you're a vegetarian and you don't want to use any of the beef or chicken, you can use vegetable broth. So I'm just going to use 1 cup. Okay, this is 2 cups. Now, one of these beef broths right here, in this 14.5 ounce can right here, gives you about 2 cups. Gives you 2 cups of broth. Now I have 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to put that in. Now I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now I have a half a teaspoon of Crystal hot sauce. Now, you would use Tabasco sauce, and you would just, he doesn't give a specific measurement on Tabasco sauce, so you would have to add, like, let's say a little dash of it, or like a 1/8 teaspoon, and then adjust up, because you don't want to overpower it. But I like spice in my stuff, so anyways, I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of Crystal hot sauce. I love spice. Now, I'm just making a small version of this. Like I said, I'll have the original recipe up there. And he doesn't, like I said, you would just have to use your judgment on salt and pepper and your, Tabasco sauce or your hot sauce, whichever one you prefer. And if you don't want to, you don't have to use it. If you don't want no spice in your stuff, you don't have to use it. It's however you like to make your soup. What I have here is 1 cup of vegetables. So I'm just going to put that in. Now, I did taste it off to the side here, and it's got really good flavor to it. Now, if you wanted to, you could add more tomato if you like tomatoes in yours. But you got to remember, I got that can of tomato from Margaret Holmes. Now, when I used it, see, it's got okra. And the only thing I don't have in here is an onion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up an onion, just a small amount. Now, I just chopped up like 1/3 cup of onion right here, because I don't have a lot in there. So that's all I've got. And now, if at this point, if you wanted to add more vegetables, you can. I may add a little bit more. That's it. Make sure I got it all. Okay. This soup tastes amazing. It really does. I mean, it really, really does. This soup. I love making his soup. You can do all kinds of things with it. You can put elbow macaroni in it. You can put meat in it. And you would have to adjust this to your family size. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys the original written out recipe, what he has in his book, and then how I did my version of this. So, because I'm just doing mine on a smaller scale. Now, at this point, you may want to adjust your seasonings if you want more Tabasco sauce or hot sauce, salt and pepper, any type of spices that you want to put into this. But this is really good. Now, I tasted the flavorings of this again, and I added a little bit more, a dash of pepper and salt, and a little bit more hot sauce to this, and it tastes really good. Like I say, you have to adjust this to your family size. Now, I used a whole package of the steamables, so that way it gives me a lot of vegetables. See that? And stuff. So this makes quite a bit just using the, couple of cans that we did. So I say you can adjust this. Once you see the recipe, you can adjust it up and down, like I said, to your family size, and then what you like. I'm doing this on a smaller scale. I've made this many, many, many times, and that's how come I know. What I've done is I have taken our Dutch oven, put it onto the stove, put it onto medium heat, and I'm just going to let it come to a boil. Now, if you wanted to put additional spices in it, if you wanted to use, like, let's say, accent or whatever spices you want, by all means do that. If you want a little bit more depth of flavor, by all means, add your spices that you like on in. Because when you use a lot of the broth and the tomato base, that's really what you have. That's the reason why I use the Margaret Holmes, because the Margaret Holmes has a good seasoning blend when you do this. And it gives the okra, the tomatoes, the corn, all like a flavor in there because it has seasoning from that can. Like I say, you can do this 10 different ways. The way that they do his soup, you can do it 10 different ways. And you can also add, like I say, your spices. Now, I pretty much stuck to the recipe except for adding the can of Margaret Holmes. And I didn't have Tabasco sauce, so I used hot sauce instead. But if you have that, you know, by all means use those. But you can adjust this to your flavor, you know, what you like in a soup. You can make this, like I said, 10 different ways. But it's very, very good soup. I wanted to show you guys how good this looks. Look at that. It's not done, but look at that. This makes a lot. When you simmer this, you know, you get a little bit more moisture in this. But look how good that looks. Now, like I said, his soup, you can do so much with it. You know, you can add noodles to this. You can add any type of meat of your choice. You can do a lot with this. And it is so, so good. And like I said, you can add your own spices, seasonings, you know, whatever you like. Like I said, I'll have the original recipe on there as worded in the book and how I did mine. You know, the smaller version of this. Now what I have here is like a little sample of this, but look how good that looks. And like I said, the pepper is the right amount of spice. Now if you wanted to add a little bit more pepper, if you like a little bit more heatness to it, any type of, if you want to add more Tabasco or hot sauce, you can. A little bit more salt. You can do anything with this. But the flavor, look at that. The flavor, you can't beat this. This is really, really good. Man, is that good. It's hot, so I gotta be careful. Okay. Man, is that good. On a nice cold day, this is so good. Where I'm at right now, you guys, it's only like 18 degrees. So this nice warm soup is definitely something that you want. The flavor in that is really, really good. Now, you can do this, like I said, you can put all kinds of stuff in this. You can make this, you know, 10 different ways. But the flavors, everything. And what I made of it, you know, for me and maybe somebody else that you have, is perfect size. Now, like I said, if you got a larger family, you will have to adjust this up and make it the original way or even more. But this is really, really flavorful, and it's very, very good. Now, I have tasted this soup, and it has absolutely a wonderful flavor. Now, I will say that this soup is a light soup. It's not a heavy soup. It's not one where it leaves like a heaviness. It's a very light soup. All right, everyone, here is our Elvis Presley Southern Style Soup. And it's from the book, Elvis Greatest Hits, Recipe and More from Graceland. And what I have here, he had some amazing cooks and recipes. I mean, he really did. This right here is his soup. And it's a Southern vegetable soup, and it's very, very good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the original recipe in there, and I made mine, like I said, on a smaller version of this, but this is really, really good. I've tasted it. The flavors are good. I did not have Tabasco sauce. I used what I had in my fridge or pantry, so if you don't have Tabasco sauce, just use what you have in your pantry or your fridge. I used salt and pepper and just, you know, frozen bag of vegetables, and I did beef broth. Now, you can do a combination of beef and chicken broth, or you can do all vegetable broth. You can, like I said, you can make this 10 different ways. And you can put the elbow macaroni in it. You can use meat in this. You can make his soup any which way. Now, I just did mine more like a vegetarian type soup, even though it has beef broth in it. But I didn't add the macaroni. I didn't add the meat. So I did mine more like that, like the picture. But anyways, I absolutely love this. I have made this numerous times. And it's really good. Like I say, you can make this 10 different ways, and I've made it several different ways. But anyways, I absolutely love this, and I hope you guys love it too. I tell you, the cooks at Graceland were phenomenal. He's got some good recipes in here. I mean, he really does. His pecan pie, his meatloaf, his ribs, everything are really good. They really are. I just absolutely loved when I went to Graceland, and also, you know, just that whole experience being down there and stuff. He was an amazing person. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching our video today of our Southern vegetable soup from Elvis' Greatest Hits, Recipes and More from Graceland. Thank you so much. If you're watching this video for the first time, please click the subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. Again, thank you for watching our video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.